here, and we're going to talk about them. We're so excited. We're going to talk about them. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Amanda.
Hello.
We both have a great number of romance novels to talk about, but first, I want to give a plug to our Hands for Candy program that's happening all through the month of February 2022 here at the Scott County Public Library. This program was formerly called Food for Fines.
Fines, yes.
But we don't have any fines anymore.
That's right.
Gotten rid of fines, but we still want to collect food for the Amen House. So all during the month of February, you can bring in your unexpired canned goods and your jars of peanut butter and donate them to the Scott County Public Library for our drive for the Amen House, and you will get in return.
What will we get? What will they get?
Get this, you will get a piece of candy. You will get a dark chocolate or a milk chocolate. You can choose which one you prefer. And so it's going to be kind of like a vote. Which type of chocolate does Scott County prefer?
Oh, neat.
Milk chocolate or dark chocolate? And we'll have the results of that at the end of our Cans for Candy drive.
So it's a win-win. So you do something
Yes.
good for the Amen House and you get candy.
And you get candy. So bring your cans. It's just one piece of candy per donation, no matter how large that donation is. So if you bring 10 cans, you still only get one piece of candy.
But bring as many as you want.
Right, but bring as many as you want, because the Amen House sure can use it.
Yes.
So, all right, now for our romance novels. I've read so many of them, and I'm so excited to talk about them. My first one, these are all brand new, by the way. They're in our new release section, these ones that I'm talking about. I've got The Sweetest Remedy by Jane Icaro. And this is it's kind of like Coming to America, except in reverse.
Okay.
Our heroine, Hannah, she's an American woman that's been raised in, I think she's in New York City. And she's only met her Nigerian father one time when she was a child. And she receives word that he's passed away suddenly, and she has to go to his funeral in Nigeria. And here's the catch. His family over in Nigeria didn't even know that she existed. So it's kind of like a surprise where the executor of the estate invites her over due to the will. And she surprises this family that he already has over there. And one of the members of this family is a young man that her father took into the house when he was really young and kind of raised him as his own son. And of course, he has chemistry with our heroine. So he's handsome and successful, and will they get together? And will she fit in with her new family in Nigeria? You gotta read the book to find out. I really recommend this one. It was one of my favorites.
Sounds good.
Yes, it's good. Good.
Yes. Yes.
My second one is called The Charm Offensive by Allison Cochran. And this is a really fast-paced one, and it's kind of got a lot of slapstick kind of humor in it too. It's about a producer for a reality TV show that's called Ever After. It's like a bachelor guy that has to choose between 20 or so bachelorettes, and then he's supposedly gonna propose to one at the end of the show.
Oh, so neat.
So they call it Ever After. And Dev is he's the producer of the show, and he becomes the new bachelor guy's handler. So he's got to get him through all of these trials and ceremonies and things that they're doing in this reality show. And the director of the reality show has it totally scripted. She wants this to happen at this time and this to happen at this time, and he's got to choose this woman at the end. And the only problem is the contestant, the bachelor contestant, has more chemistry with Dev, his handler, than he does with any of the bachelorettes. And so can Dev and Charlie, the bachelor, get together?
Behind the scenes,
Behind the
stuff
scenes,
going on there.
Yeah, behind the scenes, and they're two guys. So can they make this reality show kind of morph into something that's really true, or are they going to do the scripted thing till the very end? So you got to read this and find out the answer. It's really cool. Okay, my next one, The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. Two exes reach a new level of awkward when forced to take a road trip together to a mutual friend's wedding. And this is by a British author, and there's lots of slapstick going on, lots of different characters, lots of subplots going on between the different background characters, and this really strange twist at the end that results in a lot of running around and crazy things happening. But it's about a young man and a woman who get together in Provence when they're both spending the summer there, and they had a wonderful relationship, but the guy's best friend kept getting in the way. And then they're forced by circumstance to kind of carpool together to a mutual friend's wedding. And so they're kind of thrown back at each other, and of course, are they going to get together again? Probably. So
That forced proximity.
Close proximity,
Yes.
with a lot of crazy eccentric characters.
Neat.
So I recommend this one. So We Meet Again by Suzanne Park. This is a really good one. I like this one. It's about Jessie Kim. She's a high-level investment banker, and she's just been laid off by her, big name firm. So she heads home to Tennessee, where her parents, who have kind of raised her to excel, keep kind of throwing her back at one of her old classmates from grade school and middle school and high school, named Daniel Choi, and he's like this super achiever guy. So she isn't sure exactly what she's going to do when she gets back on her feet, but she thinks she wants to start a business. So she's got a lot of skills, cooking skills. So she starts a business that's like a YouTube channel about Korean meal hacks. And she sets up like a business supplying the ingredients you'll need to hack your meal delivery kits.
Oh, neat.
And she accepts Daniel's help because he's got a lot of business connections and stuff like that. So, but they still have this kind of rivalry because each one wants to outdo the other one. So are they going to succeed in romance? Read it.
Sounds delicious and steamy.
Yes, yes, yes. And then now our next one. It's called Witch Please by Anne Aguirre. And it's got a little bit of fantasy in it and a lot of just kind of happy romance. And it's about she's a hereditary witch, and her grandmother has told her entire life, if she doesn't date another witch, like a guy who's a witch, then she'll lose all her powers. So she only has to date people that come from kind of a magical background. And she's afraid that this guy that she meets that runs a bakery down the road, who's a mundane, doesn't have any magical powers, she's afraid that if she gets together with him, she's going to lose all of her powers. And so she really doesn't want to, but the chemistry is there. So they keep kind of getting together, and she does a spell at one point to make the best thing for her life happen. And she thinks the best thing for her life to happen is not seeing this guy ever again, but it kind of forces them even closer together. So, and then of course she finds out at the end, well, I'll let you.
Gotta be careful with that magic and romance.
You've got to be careful with the magic and romance, but it becomes very magical at the end and a happy ending. I love it.
I love a good happy ever after.
Happy ever after is what I like too. And then some people, I should have brought my fan for this next one, because this next one is very, very steamy. So, get your fan out.
That would be my pick right there.
Yes, it's called A Lot Like Adios, and it's by Alexis Dario. And it's about a woman who's a busy graphic designer, and she has no time for romance. but her Puerto Rican Italian family is all about marriage, so they keep trying to shove her at guys. And she only has, her heart is with a guy that left town like years ago. Well, he's back. And you can guess what happened. Can they get back together and find true love? And lots of steamy scenes.
That's correct. That sounds cultural
Yes.
too. There's some the culture in there too as well. It sounds really good.
Yes, it's excellent.
Wonderful.
I recommend it.
All right, great. Well, those were amazing recommendations, and I'll just continue on down the line here with some more for you. I'm going to start with People We Meet on Vacation. This is by Emily Henry. It was the Goodreads Best Romance winner for 2021. It's a tale of friendship and love told through different timelines. So it's of Alex and Poppy. And so basically they, throughout their whole high school and college careers, have taken summer trips together every year. And then about 2 years ago, before the first few chapters start, something happened, and now they're no longer talking. So we go through the whole book knowing something happened, but we're not exactly sure what. There's a lot of vacation destinations in it. Very slow burn, but a lot of quirky banter and happily ever after, of course. Friends to lovers made me laugh and cry, which I love. And I guess the best way to describe it would be a modern day When Harry Met Sally. I don't know if you remember that movie, but that's really the best way to describe that one. And she was the author of another book called Beach Read, which I think we had talked about before.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Yes. So moving on to the next one, because it's also on the Goodreads list. It was actually the second pick. It is called The Love Hypothesis. And this one is one of my favorites. It's about two scientists who agreed to fake date. The reason they fake date is because the leading character, Olive, decides that she wants her best friend to be happy. And she knows that her best friend really likes this guy that she went on a date or two with. So she wants to make sure her best friend is really happy. And her best friend says, I won't date him unless I'm sure that you're not, that you don't want to date him too, girl code and all that.
Right.
So she kisses the first person that she sees, which happens to be Dr. Adam. So she kisses him in the hallway, and then they have to pretend to fake date. And so they pretend to fake date so that Olive's best friend can date the other guy, and Dr. Adam wants to fake date to show the university that he is intending on staying close by and staying in the community. So sweet but a little spicy. A lot of sexually positive friendships in here. Olive is charismatic and nerdy. Adam is very broody, dark, handsome, broody. Yes, this one has a lot of female empowerment for females in a mostly male profession, STEM. So that's really good. It talks a lot about academics. Both of them are, one was at grad school and was a doctor. It's really great. It's also a TikTok favorite.
Okay.
So highly recommend that one. Moving on to The Royals Next Door. You know how much I love a book about royalty, dukes, duchesses. It doesn't matter. Royalty is where it's at. So Piper is actually a school teacher, and she on the side reads romance novels and has a romance podcast. But no one knows it's her. It's very secret. But she's living on an island with her mom, who also has a mental illness. So there's really good mental illness rep in this one. So what happens is the English royalty, Dutch and Duchess, move next door and onto this island for a little privacy. And Piper has to deal with them being next door and all the paparazzi and social media and everything that comes with it. But these royals bring with them a handsome bodyguard named Harrison. And he is such a hunky cinnamon roll. I love reading about him so much. The side characters in this book are also fantastic. They are sassy, energetic. I want to mention too, this is important, the Duke and Duchess are actually an interracial royal couple. And that goes into play in here in some of the social media things they have to deal with. Piper also fights against the stigma of the romance genre, because there's a stigma placed on the romance genre that because she's a teacher, maybe she shouldn't be reading the romance novels or doing the romance podcast on the side. So there's a little bit of things to work through there with the community. It's got a happy ever after in that one too, though. But this one was just adorable. Again, Harrison, my new book boyfriend. Fantastic. Okay, moving on to this one, and I'm so excited to talk about this one. It's The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. And I'm not sure if you've heard of this. This is a little bit of an older book, a couple years old. But this one I'm going to review as a read and watch. This one is about Lucy and Joshua, and they both work at publishing houses. Their companies then decide to merge, and they both work for opposite managers. So they end up competing to see who's going to actually lead the company. The banter is just great. It's witty banter, dialogue was spot on. The tension and the chemistry in this were just off the charts. So that's a lot about the reading part of it. The competitiveness makes for some hilarious scenes and hijinks, a lot of hijinks in this one if you like that. But once they cross the enemy line, their animosity is translated into something absolutely electric. And you can actually see this in the film on Amazon Prime Video. It stars Lucy Hale and Austin Stowell. And we've actually ordered copies in for the library of this movie, so it should be here soon. So go ahead and put yourself on hold for this. Keep checking our system to see when the movie gets in, or go to Amazon Prime Video and you can watch it there. It's fantastic. So highly recommend The Hating Game. Moving on, this one actually is another one similar to The Love Hypothesis. There were a lot of books about nerds and about science and DNA and statistics and just a lot of things like that this year, and academics, which I was really happy to see. So this one's called The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. And Christina Lauren, they are two authors that put their names together. One's Christina and one's Lauren. And they are very popular, have a lot of books out. This one is their newest and one of my favorites. So it starts with the question, if you could find your soulmate by a simple DNA sample, would you do it? So it asks you to think on that. Jess, her name is Jess, is a single mom, and she spontaneously sends out a DNA sample to this company called Genetically. Genetically is run by a man named Dr. River. I think it's Dr. River Peanut. And she finds out she's a 98% match, which is one of the highest they've ever had, to the actual owner of the company himself.
Oh my
so
God.
They have to decide if they want to date and see if the numbers and the statistics add up and if they're really meant for each other or not. And again, she's a single mom. She's a daughter named Juno. And Juno and River end up trying to see if they can get along too. She ends up being raised by her grandparents, so there's grandparents raising a granddaughter in here too, helping with that. A lot of family stuff in there as well, plus science, which we love. So very sciencey with dating apps, a lot of stats. It's for you romance nerds, fake dating, grumpy hero. Also want to mention the cool best friend named Fizzy in here. She's just a fabulous side character too. I love watching the friendships when the friends have a banter back and forth and they help with the romance. I love that part. And then the last, and this one, we're going to need a fan for this one too because it is super steamy. This is my personal favorite pick for the year. It's called It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Very steamy. So this one is, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Schitt's Creek, but the lead character here is based on the main character in here is based on the lead character Alexis from that show. And so Piper is a party princess in LA. She decides to go out, and one night she takes it too far. There's a party at a hotel on the rooftop of the hotel. They like drown everything with the water, and there's bubbles everywhere, and they end up getting kicked out of the hotel. She goes to jail. Her sister bails her out. Stepdad says, no, one too many. So he sends her off to this private island. I think it's a private island on the northwest coast. I think it's her Maine. It's of Westport. Upon getting there, she meets this grumpy crab fisherman named Brendan. Super great. And one of the best things about this, I think many women would agree with me, is that he really likes to spoil the women he dates. He likes to have them go shopping, and that's what he loves. So Piper's a very lucky lady in this.
Yes.
He's a grumpy crabbing captain. His name's Brendan, tall, handsome, bearded. I just swooned so much over Brendan in this. It's a grumpy sunshine trope, opposites attract, and like I said, super steamy. So definitely check this one out and bring a fan with you, maybe a cool drink. So, and those are all of my recommendations. Some new, some not, but all absolutely fabulous.
Yes, we've got so many wonderful ones.
Yes.
So keep checking in with Bookends, and we've always got the greatest reviews for you. Next month, we will be talking about books that have libraries or librarians in them, maybe a few bookshop books. And so join us again next month.
Yes.
We'll see you.